Hey everyone, welcome to this video. I've loaded this video up with some secrets and tips for you. And if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I like to know either way, and let's get started. Many of our makeup items cost more than gold itself. You see, if you had like a solid bar of gold, it would be priced per gram or by its weight, just as makeup is. And if you were to melt down some makeup product, like an eyebrow pencil, you'd need quite a few in order to melt it down and create that same amount. But you'd find per gram, oftentimes the makeup product, like an eyebrow pencil, actually costs more than precious metals like gold. So when it comes to beauty items, certainly there's some ways we can save a little bit of money and a few theories that will make us really happy with what we have. Cue the video. Tweezers are super helpful for so many things, especially for little hairs around your eyebrows. So long as you don't lose them, you don't really ever have to buy new ones. But you know when you go to use them and you're like, is there something wrong with the tweez? Like it must be old or it just doesn't work anymore, because you go to grab a hair and maybe it grabs the hair, but it won't actually pluck it out. All you need to fix them is a knife sharpener or sandpaper. With your tweezers, they're a blade, just like a knife, and they need to be sharpened. They don't need to be thrown out. They just need to be refreshed. And so we're going to do that with the knife sharpener, just slowly bringing the top of those tweezers down and sharpening them a few times, and then we can use them and see how they work. Each time I refresh my tweezers with this knife sharpener, they work so good. They can actually pick up almost invisible tiny little hairs with no effort at all. And because good tweezers are like $20, $30 a pop, like really good ones, you think about that, that's a lot of tweezer money saved. Here we are, perhaps, with one of the more important details that I will continue to apply to my concealers. Any product that comes in a tube like this, when it seems like you're out and you're ready to throw it out, you can refresh it. Now you can see there is concealer left in here, but when you go to use it, it probably is really dry. And in fact, I thought that the concealer was dried out, but not only is there a lot more left in here than it seems, the concealer itself is still good. There's still a lot in here, and we're going to refresh it so that we can use it as if it's brand new. For those of you who like to know why things are happening, I'm like that. It's the length of the applicator, and because it is shorter than the tube itself, it can only reach the middle, and all of the rest of the concealer is either left at the bottom or collects at the top. If you measure it out and section it off, you see there's probably about 20–30% left in there. All we have to do is get it out by removing the little bit of plastic that's at the top of your concealer container. And to do this, you just take some tweezers, wedge them right up under the little stopper that's in the top of your concealer, and pluck it out. Now, you can collect the little bit of concealer that's on the actual stopper itself, because it all counts. But now, when you put your concealer applicator back inside, you're going to be able to pull out all that is left inside the concealer, and it will be like brand new for an additional 2 weeks of use or more. You can see how much concealer you get out of just one swipe. You can really refresh it, and it's great because now you get your money's worth and you get all of the product that you paid for. If you're enjoying this video so far, then give it a thumbs up. Compact powders. These are responsible for setting your makeup. And when you rebalance them, as they run out of product, you will get a better application. You see, when you use your powder brush around the edge, the powder can only really apply to the edge of your brush. When it's not balanced, you'll get a ring of product that you're ready to apply to your skin. And keep in mind, when you're using a foundation, it's a little bit wet, so this ring of powder can really create a patchy outcome. It also goes without saying, sometimes we throw out powders before they're truly done, and you'd be surprised to see how much is in here. Use rubbing alcohol. In order to make this work, the powder needs to be ground back up using a little butter knife or a tool that works to grind the powder down, and you'll be surprised to see as you start to do this and level it out, there's a lot of product in here compared to what it looked like before. Now, once it is balanced and flat as possible, take your rubbing alcohol and add some in, knowing that you can always add more, but you can't take it away if it overflows, so be careful. Take that same tool and start to gently mix the rubbing alcohol with the powder. We want a wet clay type of consistency and not a dry mud consistency. So add some more rubbing alcohol until it looks something like this. Once your powder is nearly dry, take a lid, something smaller than the powder itself, and a tissue over top. We're going to press down really firm so that the powder doesn't crumble. So now you've fixed your makeup compact. You can also do this with eyeshadow palettes. It's pretty cool because sometimes we hit pan on our favorite shade. And the cool thing about rubbing alcohol is it evaporates up into the air. It genuinely leaves the place where it is put once the time passes. So we'll be left with makeup and makeup only. All you have to do with your powder compact once it's set is clean it up, make it look brand new, and you can use your powder and get a full even coat of coverage each time. You know when you go to use your liquid liner and it's like dry and you didn't get it that long ago, so there's something up. When the liquid liner no longer produces a thick, even coat of color, it's often because of how it's stored. If it's stored upright, the stopper prevents the applicator from reaching to the bottom where often a lot of the ink is collected. And if you store the liquid liner more likely on its side in your makeup bag or in your drawer, the same exact thing happens. All of the ink collects along the edge and it doesn't really hit the applicator, so your liner seems like it's done. It's probably not. And if you store it upside down like this, you're gonna get an even coat of liner until it's actually finished every time that you go to use it. This video is sponsored by Proven Skincare. This is super cool. You get products shipped to your door that are directly tailored for your skin. First, you take a quick quiz. It takes 3 minutes and you go through your skincare concerns. My main concern is dryness, and I use a tretinoin prescription, so I often have a lot of flaking. And my formula is going to keep all of these things in mind. So now I have completed my quiz and my package arrived. I have my personalized skincare system. I like how simplified this is. With 3 products, I have my whole routine, and the day cream has SPF in it, so I don't need to add any additional sunscreen. I use tretinoin, like I said, and it makes my skin really dry, but the formula of my night cream is perfect. My skin's been much more hydrated with a lot less flaking, and the cleanser is interesting too because I typically go for a bubbly, foamy cleanser, but this one is very gel-like. And it is also great as a 1-minute mask to hydrate and soothe my skin. I'm really happy with this proven skincare formula, and it's cool to know that they will reformulate for free if it doesn't happen to work, but mine really did. And you can get 50% off your first subscription with code Alexandra. Now, we've gone through some very practical steps and tips, and now I want to talk about theory with you. Keeping the idea, if we can agree, that makeup is there so that you can adorn yourself with the style and the look and the colors that you like. And makeup in itself can be really exciting, so it can take on a life of its own where you want more and more and more, and it's distracting. If you find that you have a deep hunger and addiction to having new things, you might find that doing a visual inventory is helpful. The idea is once you have the products and makeup items that work for you, you can go and live your life and enjoy with your makeup on. But if we are always looking for the next perfect thing, it is distracting. And it's also financially not good. Let's say I was looking for a lip liner online, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's good to do a visual inventory. Once you take it offline and you actually look at what is it that you have, you will either notice that, oh, you actually have something that you thought you wanted. It's already within your possession, which can dull that hunger with a deep sense of gratitude. And sometimes you'll do a visual inventory and realize, no, it's genuine that I genuinely do not have this thing. And well, then you know that it's something you genuinely would like to have. And it's good to buy makeup that is not a burden in and of itself to obtain. I think that affordable makeup products are awesome. Now, in keeping in line with this same thought and higher levels of satisfaction with what you have, clearing out your makeup bag is a really good practice. Whatever you use to do your makeup daily, whether that's at a table or in a makeup bag and you pull everything out and use it, take a regular break during the week or every couple of weeks to refresh and re-standardize every single thing in there so that it is clean and usable and presentable for you every time that you go to use it. This is something that really helps you to appreciate the items that you have. We're working with beauty, and it's super nice to have beautiful, clean things to use, even as they're not brand new anymore. This really mitigates that hunger for new stuff because the new, shiny, brand new thing is that way, and then your stuff is like dirty and not usable, really. But if they are both clean and they both work, there's really not much difference between something brand new and that item that you already really like. And there's never a level of having stuff that you reach that calls for you to be more orderly or grateful. Sometimes it seems, or it's a bit of an illusion to look and see, well, if I had more, then it would all be organized and it would all be clean and shiny and beautiful. These two things are very separate skills and very separate blessings. In order to have things, that is one thing, but to have it managed well, to care for it, that's a completely separate skill. In fact, it's something that at any stage, even if you had one makeup item to your name, you can still keep it orderly. You can still make it clean. And this is a skill that is entirely separate than those who are blessed with big, beautiful vanities filled with makeup. Now, you see a lot of influencers, we have makeup tables. It's completely normal to do your makeup on the floor in front of the mirror. And in fact, don't ever look at people who have makeup tables and think that your place of application of makeup in front of the mirror in the bathroom or on the floor, it is awesome. And you can make it awesome, by the way. If you know that you are always sitting in front of a certain mirror, make it comfy and cozy rather than looking at it as, well, ideally, I'd rather be sitting somewhere else, so therefore I won't put care into it. It's not going to work like that because you'll need those skills even if you get yourself a new vanity. So get yourself something to sit on, get a makeup bag that works for you, and maybe something to protect your clothes. If you always get ready in your clothing, sometimes makeup can spill, so maybe you get something to put over your lap. And this makes it kind of special when you do your makeup and you put value back into your own process. If you're enjoying this video so far, please do give it a thumbs up. If you're not, then give it a thumbs down because I like to know either way. All right, now speaking of makeup items and like getting new stuff, I was looking for a peach blush, but not a powder one. Cream blush. Not powder, but cream. And we're going to make a peach blush. I was really excited about this. It's medium coverage, self-setting, and it has a radiant finish. After looking at a bunch of these online and then realizing I could do this with something I already have, I can say I am highly satisfied. Now let's get started. This is a good way to transform an unusable concealer. If you have one like I did that is too dark, you can use this as a base alongside some colorful eyeshadows, the kind that you have in a palette. These pigments for the eyes can easily melt and meld with the concealer to create color for a cream blush. And the cool thing, when you do this with eyeshadow and a concealer, you transform the concealer to become self-setting. So it will dry down on the skin and it won't move around. You won't need to set it with anything. I'm going to need more powder than this, but I'm taking a little bit of concealer. And this powder that I mixed up, I want to see how the two relate to each other to see if I like the color. It looks pretty good. I think it will need a little bit more orange. And you want to fine tune this before you mix up the main larger amount of eyeshadow powder so that you really know what you're getting. Instead of trying to stick it in the little stopper, I would recommend taking it out just like we did with the concealer earlier. And that way you can put all of your powder in and mix it and swirl it all around before adding the stopper back in so that you can use your new cream blush. I'm going to try this on, but first let's see a swatch of it. It is beautiful and peachy and very fresh and natural. Cream blush is awesome. If you've never tried it, you will probably enjoy using it in a couple of ways. One of them being with no foundation, just a little bit on the cheeks for some coverage as well as a tint that leaves you perhaps just wanting a little bit of concealer underneath your eyes and your whole face is done. You can also use a powder brush, which I like to use for applying cream blush because it gives a slightly different effect and it makes it really easy to blend, especially if I'm doing it over top of a more intense type of makeup. And if you top it off with a powder blush, then it's going to stay on all day without fading. And you can add a highlighter over top to give it that beautiful sheen. I think I like this more than a lot of makeup products because we made it. And speaking of getting your money's worth and getting the most out of what you have, getting creative with it, these are two tools that I enjoy a lot for a few reasons. The first is this little tray that you can put your makeup on, and it's usually sold with this, a makeup spatula. And this is the key. I like to use this with my foundation. With one pump of foundation, you can shear out the product along your face like a butter knife. It is so great, not only for the finish that you get, but also because there's always a lot of product left over just from one pump of foundation. And you can use this makeup spatula with sunscreen too. If you like to apply it and you want to make sure that you get even coverage, this is really helpful. I think that the tools that we use should be helpful. That makes sense. And I think that really expensive makeup sponges are not helpful because there's a barrier to just replacing them, and they need to be replaced. These can be washed with soap and water and sanitized in the microwave. A big bag of these that will last you like half a year or more is like a quarter of the price of one single beauty blender, and it works just as well. What do you think? Did you enjoy this video? Let me know what was your favorite part in the comments below. And if you did enjoy, please give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next video. If you want to watch more, you can click my channel and see the rest of my videos. I love you. I'll see you soon.